This podcast is made by dirty, stupid goblins and their equally horrible guests. They don't believe anything they're saying, and neither should you. It's definitely not for kids, unless their parents are hilariously irresponsible or unbelievably rad, like high on peyote, jumping the dirt bike over the creek, kind of awesome. You know what I'm talking about.
All the freaks by the side of the road, they all say they don't like what they see. All the freaks by the side of the road, they all sit there just staring at me. All the people on the other side, they all stay there just waiting beside. All the freaks by the side of the road, they all
Hey, welcome to Why Don't We Have Our Own Show, the show that answers its own dang question. I am your also host, Scott Baisden.
And I'm your also host, and I'm not giving my name out over the internet because I'm a fucking girl, and you know what happens.
That's a long last name. What is it?
Swear words, is that French?
Slavic?
It's Polish.
So we have new cozies on our microphones today because editing the P-Pops was an absolute disaster.
It was a
nightmare.
literal nightmare.
I don't know, a literal. I mean, I didn't. No, wait, yeah, it did crawl
You
out
haven't
of my
slept
dreams.
well.
No,
since. Can we blame the show for that?
well, we can blame my sick cat. My cat's sick.
Our cat's sick.
It's not. Yeah.
He's
sorry.
not
Yeah.
just
Our
your
cat.
cat. He's my cat as well.
Ooh, we get to hear this right.
We get to hear this right away, right out of the. Well, actually, right out of the gate.
This
we get to
might
hear
be
it.
again
As
the
I
last
mentioned
show.
Earlier,
Dollar from the-
I'm ringing
dollar
in the
in the
new
swear
year.
jar.
I'm ringing out the new year because it's my period. So, you know.
Or as
I'm about
Ann
2
said earlier,
seconds.
lady times.
It's late times.
Let's
And I'm about
get
2 seconds from
busy.
just like launching myself over this desk and strangling someone. So
Sorry, Michael.
No, I'm
Sorry,
next
Gene.
to her. You're across the table.
Well, Gene's kind of across.
Gene
too.
moved back. Gene was smart enough. Gene knows where all the secret exits are.
He's got that escape hatch that's just below and above him. He's got one.
Listen,
And
man.
he's gone in a poof of smoke.
I'm uncomfortable.
bomb.
And I can't make Scott uncomfortable anymore because we've known each other for 25 years. So no matter what I do when I talk about my period, he doesn't care anymore.
I
So I
will
have to make somebody uncomfortable.
Ford that mighty
and you
fucking
guys
river.
are the
Gene
chosen
raised
ones.
his hand. He's. I think Gene just tapped out.
I will
as they would in
swim.
MMA. He just tapped out.
I will swim upstream that crimson waterfall
See, the
like
way
a
I feel
trout.
is that every woman everywhere has to like endure this, and I feel like we should inflict it on men now
I think
because you
that's
guys
salmon,
don't want us
Scott.
to.
Trout don't swim?
Upstream.
Trout don't swim? Is that what you're saying?
Up-
Are you a
upstream.
trout speciest?
And now we've moved on to
Screw you, dude.
Hey,
Oh, we should introduce. We
tastes
have
like
our.
trout. Get the hell out.
We now know what Scott's persona is. It's going to be a trout.
It's going to be.
Tastes
that
like
is my-
chicken. Keep on licking.
Well, that's another one for the edit pile. We should introduce. We have our.
On that classy note, like that. That's like
you like to
jokes
talk
like
about-
in the back of the bus in 5th grade. Like that would have. That's
With
the crowd.
With the kid who's
Classy.
constantly got his hands jammed down his parachute pants.
And the other kid that's like wiping boogers on the back of their seat.
If you guys are all lucky, he's not just jamming them into his
Oh my
mouth.
God.
Yeah. Well.
And on that note, yeah, we have our special guest, Michael McCallum of Lansing, Michigan, of Rebel Pictures. Rebel Pictures, that's REBEL Pictures.
Second time on this show, dangerously coming close to actually being
just
another
being
co-host. Another
yeah, I think
co-host.
this is like court ordered that
This
the
is
three of
your-
us can't be in the same, and we can tell the judge
It's
we're in different
mandated by
locations.
God. Let's
This
be
is your
honest.
community service. This
You're right.
is,
I pick up trash in this show.
which is also trash.
Well, considered by the
State of-
54A District Court in Lansing, it is.
You know that number well. How many times have you
Shout
been in
out
that one?
to Judge DeLuca and Judge Ball.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Whoa, dude. We have a legal scholar
Wow.
here.
I don't know if I'm a scholar if I've just been immersed in the system.
So with Captain Marvel, now we're going to just leap right out of that. So with Captain Marvel's trailers dropping, I have to say that I have been informed by our legal department that my NDA does not include this room. So I have to say, we've all seen, I think we can all admit to us, we've seen Avengers Endgame, and I just wanted to talk about it. Spoilers, spoiler alert. I thought it was crazy that they resolved the entire Thanos plot with the Hulk unhinging his jaw and graphically devouring Thanos.
Yeah, that was a real surprise.
It was a shock.
Starting
I mean,
with
it
his
was
feet, though.
starting with his feet, and it was 35 minutes of the full
yeah.
runtime.
And it was so like graphic.
But I mean, I think that they can
It
get
looks
away
so
with that. I mean,
real.
they can do that PG-13 because the inside of Thanos looks like felt stuffing and grimace parts.
Right.
So I mean,
Well,
it's like
but with the
purple
suit
chicken.
on, his armored suit. Don't want to be around the Hulk later on.
Oh yeah, that's
they
going to
had
be
the
a
end
If you
credit
thought
scene
he was
in the toilet.
mad before,
right,
ooh,
right. He's
Yeah,
going to turn
they do
red
have
Hulk,
that end credit scene though.
and that's just from
Well,
him straining.
that's at one end of him will be the Red Hulk.
But yeah, no, I'm just getting a confirmation from my personal lawyer that it's totally okay for me to talk about this. That the fact that Morgana Scarlet Hazelnut. That the Scarlet Witch was a hallucination the
hazelnut?
entire time.
She was
Hazelnut.
actually a literal hazelnut.
Yeah, she was, but a mass
She's a
hallucination.
Starbucks flavor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was a mass hallucination this
I mean, it's
entire
better
time.
than
I thought
pumpkin
that it was crazy that they spent so much time retconning all of her kills and attacks and explaining all of that away as just a mass hallucination. That was
She was literally a caramel latte in a cup,
right.
hazelnut flavored.
But everybody just regarded her as the woman that was having sex with the robot man.
And why haven't the Spice Girls
Mm-hmm.
gotten back together to do a pumpkin spiced latte? That's
Oh
the
my
question.
God.
That's really the question.
That's
Well, it
going
wouldn't
on
be
in
a
the
pumpkin.
pile.
That would
That's
be
really
obvious.
not-
Pumpkin
that's
spice
what-
would obviously be ginger spice. It would have to
Well,
be a variety of flavors. It'd have to be like more than one. So like scary spice would have to be something of a
Christmas,
scary. Yeah,
Christmas peppermint spice.
yeah,
Right.
something like baby spice would have to taste like cotton candy and regret.
Or diapers.
I mean, are we
God.
not going to talk about the fact that the hidden Avenger this whole time was James Fenimore Cooper's Natty Bumppo from the Leatherstocking Tales? Are we not going to that is the elephant in the room.
Nobody's talking about it.
Nobody's
but
talking
us.
about this but us because
We're the only
literally-
podcast talking about
And Scott's lawyer
Natty
just
Bumppo.
said now to change subjects. He was like,
No.
nope, this is legal ramifications.
Look, all right, to hell.
The Spice Girls podcast is a whole other podcast, Michael. You're just bringing up. You're just ruining another episode.
Guys, this was my bit. I worked really hard on this. This is my bit. And you're screwing it up. You're screwing it up for me. This was going to be the thing that I was going to talk about the whole damn
Go, keep
time.
going. You got
You
plenty of
can't-
time.
No,
you
no,
want
it's
to talk
done.
about Leather
It's
Stocking
done.
Tales? You go for it. I never read it.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. So we had to read this. We had to read Cooper. We had to read James Fenimore Cooper in high school. We had to read one of the
For American
Leatherstocking
Lit.
Tales. I forget which one.
Didn't.
But Natty Bumppo
so
dies
boring.
in a 6-hour sunset, and it
I
was.
don't know
and
any
he
of this 'cause I
talks
never read it.
the whole time. And the only thing that I remembered about it was, and I wrote this down on whatever pop quiz we had at the time. It's like that is literally the longest sunset in human history because he talked for an entire chapter while the sun set. It was like reading a sunset in real time, and then the sun descended another 1/110th of a degree on the azimuth of the Earth's horizon.
He's the only one who knows this because I never read it.
You read it, didn't you? You had to have read
I was
the
supposed to have
Leatherstocking
read
novels.
it. No, I never read it. No, I took one look at that and I'm like, I'm not reading this shit.
No.
And then the very next day there was a pop quiz. And I didn't know any of the answers because I didn't read it. And there was the very last bonus question, the extra credit question, what were Natty Bumppo's last words? And I don't know because I
The
didn't read
end.
it. So I just watched Citizen Kane that weekend. So I put down Rosebud sarcastically because I'm a piece of shit.
No, that's
And then the next day, the teacher pulls me aside and he's like, "Hey, do you know where that comes from?" I'm like, "Yeah, Citizen Kane's last words, like the doy." And he gave me a pass because I'd seen Citizen Kane, and I was like, what, like 15, 16 or whatever. So he gave me a pass. He's like, "Don't ever do that again, but you have to read what you know
Leatherstocking.
assigned."
Yeah.
But that was pretty good. Don't ever do that again, though. So I passed because it was a
Kinda
sarcastic
like a-
piece of shit.
Like an A for originality kind of thing.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he was Mr. Brillmeyer. Shout out, Mr. Brillmeyer. He was the coolest
He was a good
English teacher.
teacher.
He was so good. He was so, I would say, like bad at being like the authoritarian, being the disciplinarian in the classroom.
Yeah, because I did that shit again.
Because I did that shit again. I did that when we read.
I failed the whole quarter of it because I didn't do an essay on The Great Gatsby because I thought it was stupid.
Oh, but my essay on
Rosebud.
my essay on Gatsby was so.
I'm still mad at you about
It was
this,
so
by the
awful.
way.
It was so cool. So we had to do we had to answer some questions, and we got to pick the questions. And then one of the questions that I picked was who killed Jay Gatsby, and I was like, well, Tom, because he fired the bullet.
It was who or what killed Jay Gatsby.
Was
the
it?
full-
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah,
it
'cause
was
they
an
wanted to talk
assignment
about-
we
Kill
all
him or
wanted
did
to
had
the
to do
gun?
it.
They wanted
Or
to
the
ta-
intention of the person
And
holding
I thought the
gun?
question was dumb, so I didn't do
People
the essay.
kill
And
people.
I failed.
Michael McCallum. Guns don't kill people. People
Right,
kill
right,
people.
right, right.
No, so it's like, but Tom, so it's like, I didn't want to answer that question because I was like, all right, I understand what the question is asking. I just didn't want to do it. And I
too.
was a sarcastic shithead. I was 17, and so I went on and
So
I
not a
found
lot's changed.
So nothing has changed in the ensuing.
This is why we fell in love because
25
we're both
years.
sarcastic
Just-
pieces of shit.
Because we're garbage people that eat out of the trash can.
Maturity wise, you haven't grown at
No,
all.
Hell
there's been
no.
no
I have
growth.
I
There's
have
no-
regressed.
Even worse.
I
Just you are a 12-year-old.
I'm like, what's up, my fellow teens? Do you want to
We're
go to
just
the arcade?
sliding into entropy at this point, really.
hands shoved down your parachute pants, wiping boogers on the back of the seat, and the seat in front of you in the school bus.
I'm still at Showbiz Pizza, clapping my hands to the animatronic, to the Rockafire Explosion Band.
Telling boob jokes.
Tell 'em
He
boob
knows
jokes,
this
putting
because
that
he
into
spent
my
like a
calculator.
solid week watching freaking videos of the freaking band. Oh my god!
People find the Rockafire Explosion animatronics, they put them back together, and then they record them,
was
and then
my
they like
literal worst
reprogram
nightmare.
them. It was one night. They
was more than
they
one night.
reprogram them playing the most wildly inappropriate music of all time. Like when you go to YouTube and you like type in Rockafire Explosion,
Seriously, go
9
and
Inch
do it.
Nails.
Right.
Do
Do
it.
it.
It's amazing.
Or just
because
Motorhead
Billy
or
Bob.
something.
Yes, because
Yeah.
Billy Bob, the Showbiz boy, and his band are playing like Drake and 9 Inch Nails and Eminem and swearing up a blue streak, and they put the smoke machines. They get smoke machines and the lights going off, and it's all synced up. And
It's
CeeLo
honestly
Green's
the worst thing you can
CeeLo
imagine.
Green's you and I saw this and like the
The Imagica had arrived for him.
the universe had opened up. The cosmos split
And for me, it was a tumble into hell.
It was the universe was blossomed. It was no longer
Like
a
a-
rosebud.
like a phantasmagoric vagina. It opened
Michael's
up,
bringing it
and the
all-
great
all
arms
around.
of the Cthulhuan nightmares that exist in the veil beyond the one.
My parents were cheap hippies, so we never got to go. They were like, "No, Ann, we don't have money for that." And I'm like,
Not extravagant
"You-"
hippies.
No.
You filthy liars! It was a
Here's the thing:
$5
I learned
pizza.
years later that it wasn't the expense that stopped them. They did not literally want to go to Showbiz Pizza. That was so they would be like, "Oh no, we don't have the money for it." That was a lie. They did.
You
they
can
just didn't want to take me there.
if it was maybe
'Cause it was
grassroots
horrible.
pizza, they would have maybe
No,
been
it
entertained by
probably
more.
wouldn't have. No,
You-
they
you can-
literally didn't want to
you
take me
can
to a children's pizza place
see,
because I've been to one of them and they're horrible as an adult. When you go into those places as an adult, it is horrible.
That's why they serve beer.
Exactly. That is exactly why they serve beer.
But you don't.
You can't go
but
there
they
without
don't
getting
go-
drunk.
But they don't do the animatronic bands anymore. They
No.
don't. Not, I mean, they haven't done that.
But
in like,
seriously,
'Cause kids
ask
have
any mom and
tablets,
dad.
man.
Ask
They
any
don't.
mom and dad, and they will tell you they don't like going to those places. It's horrible for them.
Yeah, because kids
No,
look at
no,
it and they go,
my
"The
mommy
cheap shit."
loved it. She told me every day that I was special and that I deserved
Okay.
it.
I'm
Oh,
sure she
wait.
did. Your mom loves you.
Maybe she meant that I deserved it in completely different ways. Okay.
That's bullshit.
Yep.
Your mom
Yeah.
loved you.
Yep. Now you.
Yeah, now I figured it
Now,
out.
now it makes sense.
But going.
Call the therapist and cancel the next session.
Yep, I've had
You've
my
worked.
breakthrough.
You've worked something out.
Everything's
The universe's lady times are happening.
Everything is
again.
clicking in place for me. No, it's an abomination, though. Even as a child, getting up close and hearing the ratcheting, clanking, clickety-clackety noises of these robot horrors.
I'm so glad I missed this.
Chuck E. Cheese had the same thing.
Yeah, they did. They
Like,
did.
every
But
single
they
time,
don't
like,
do it
you know,
anymore,
No.
as far as I
Was
know.
No,
I
because
deprived
kids
in
aren't
childhood?
impressed
Now
by it.
I realize I wasn't. I wasn't deprived at all.
You
You were
thank them now.
deprived.
I know. Thanks,
Thank
Mom.
you, parents.
I'm a horror filmmaker because of my time at Showbiz Pizza. Because now I have seen the true face of horror.
I
and
want
it is a
you to
first-off
thank your film coming out 50-50.
Uh-huh.
I'll mention it now.
Okay.
Beautiful film,
Beautiful
dark film. Hell's Hallmark card, I like to think of it as.
Aw.
That's beautiful.
I want you to.
That's a
I want you to.
comedy.
You have to thank in the credits Showbiz Pizza now.
Beans. Oh,
You should.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. You just mentioned it here.
All right,
or
yeah.
we're going to have hopefully more and more viewers and
I just
followers
got a
of this
call right here
podcast.
from our attorney saying legally we have to.
You have to.
You
now.
have to
I
now.
want fans to write in and pummel you
All one of
with
them.
frozen kiwis if you do not thank Showbiz Pizza
Why
after you
frozen
thank.
kiwis?
Well, because they'll hurt. They'll leave marks.
And they're very
But they're
small.
usually sliced. So I mean, what are they talking like?
No,
You
the
know,
whole
like
thing.
actually
like a
like
throwing
like a
ninja
frozen,
stars.
yeah.
You can buy an entire frozen kiwi.
Oh, you can buy
Why
a kiwi.
didn't
You have to
anybody
freeze them.
Tell me. Oh, see.
On your
You
own.
didn't tell me that. You didn't mention that part.
I mean, it's kind of implied, really. I mean, I got it
Okay. Okay.
over here on
I mean, you
this
can't go to the
end of
supermarket and just
table.
buy frozen, like, whole fruits in a freezer.
Right? And that's why I was confused.
Well, I mean, you can buy frozen strawberries.
Well, you can buy, but they're usually sliced.
No, they're not.
And you want to
can buy
talk
full
about a
frozen whole
section
ones.
to edit
Sometimes.
out.
A lot of
Yeah.
times.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole part's gonna get
Yeah.
edited right the hell out.
But the whole part
So as
about
long
the
as I'm
frozen
at it, I'm
fruit-
gonna have my
Showbiz Pizza.
dreadful swear right here. 3, 2, 1. Butts.
Oh, no.
Scandalous. I hope you beep that one
Saying
out.
one bud is
I
is
still think
enough,
that we should
not
make
Well,
the
now
plural.
we've
bleeps,
said
like
we said
kitten
butt
sounds.
3 times.
Butts.
We've done 4 butts, 5 butt, 5 shit.
Yeah, but if I say
many butts.
something and I say, but,
But.
I don't, I mean,
No,
I'm not talking
dig
about,
it.
yeah.
You're not talking about your derriere
No, nobody's derriere.
or your derriere
Right,
where you poop.
right. Well, if everything's going correctly.
As opposed to out your fingertips like
Or
some
if
sort
you're
of
just,
5th-tier
or if
Batman
you're
villain.
constipated. Yeah, there's the Clayface villain right there. It's like
Should we introduce
Clayface
with
5.
that elegant transition? Should we?
Great transition. Okay,
That's
so here
why
it is.
they brought me
This is
here.
going to be the MIDI version of the Batman theme song. We're gonna replace it with like on the timeline. So at the moment, just imagine the most spectacular MIDI version of the Batman 1966 team. Play a small piece of it for us, hon.
I exited it out. I'm sorry.
So start that over, Scott,
Moment of
again. You're going to
silence.
have
What
to.
side? So how do I get to it again? Where was it?
Wow, all of this is gonna. It's gonna be a short. Fucking
It's gonna
episode.
be a shit show. Where is it? Is it just on the? Oh, it's on the monkey tail, right?
Uh-huh.
Do we go music?
What? You can. I don't know. Click on it. Just.
I'm clicking. Are
Holy
you taking
crap.
pictures?
This is the most inexpert thing that we've done today, and we've done
Hold
some
on,
weird
hold on.
shit.
I think I found it. If it wants to play it,
Okay.
it's very slow. Because my computer is 5,000
In the future,
years
we're
old.
probably gonna have to get like
Stop
metal-
taking pictures of it.
We're probably gonna have
It's
to take.
updating the library.
Jesus, tap dancing, Christ,
So anyway,
honestly-
Clayface.
Clayface, poop.
Clayface poop. Poop
Well,
face.
he's brown. Shithead. 3rd-tier Batman.
Diarrhea man.
This, and you want to talk about me being a 12-year-old?
Sinister sewer man.
Oh my God, this is all getting cut. I'm just ticking it off in my head. I'm just ticking it off in my head. Just like
The
check
diaper
marking it.
duo.
You
Oh
didn't tell me
God.
to like
Check
like
marking
not
in
to
my box.
close it. You have to tell me not to close it because I didn't think we were going to play it on the air. We agreed not
The
to play it.
constipation crew.
Ladies and
This is
gentlemen,
gonna
I
take-
apologize.
okay, update
Never
complete.
mind. Wow.
Hold on, let's see.
I
Let's see.
apologize.
Let me see if it'll let me play it.
Okay.
Play the damn song. Damn you! Why are you updating the library?
We are a
The
well-oiled
Gas X
machine.
gang.
This could not have been a
No,
more
that's not the one
spectacularly
I
robotic
wanted.
performance. if it had been done
this
by
is
the
terrible.
the
Stop it.
Showbiz Rockabilly Explosion.
Well, that's speaking of
Rockafire.
explosion.
Is it gonna play
Gene's
it?
taking a picture of our moment of failure.
This is
Okay, here we go. We're coming into our hot news segment. Hello, gentlemen, folk.
You want to take that from the top?
God no. This is
This is Build a Better Batman.
This is our life now. This is a great new segment, Build a Better Batman, where I'm going to give you a Z-tier Batman villain, and we have to construct a 5-act script, a story that fits within the Batman universe using the absolute worst that Batman had
This
to
is
offer.
why we agreed not to play it while we were on here, but you just
this
had
is
to.
usually why theater has rehearsals, but
This is,
just-
and they're cowards. They're weak cowards.
Anyway, this is Build a Better Batman. And Scott's going to go ahead and give us our villain that we're supposed to react to.
and he looks giddy like a schoolgirl.
He's so excited.
I am. Welcome to our new segment, Build a Better Batman. Today, our Z-list Batman villain is 9 Lives Man. He only showed up in one issue for good reason.
And did he fall out of a tree and get hit by a car, and that was why the
Oh, better.
did he get worms? Did he have
No.
worms
Okay,
coming
so
out of his
we're not
butt?
even talking about. We're not
I
even
said
talking
butt
about
again.
what. Oh, God damn it! This is 9 Lives Man, a villain with the mysterious and menacing name of Paul Gregorian.
Yeah.
Paul.
At least they didn't say Victor again.
Because Victor,
It's every-
Victory. It's every Batman villain. So Paul Gregorian is featured in one issue of the Golden Age of Batman, when he was usually fighting like racist caricatures and throwing them out of windows. Paul Gregorian had
good old
9
days.
lives. He claimed he had 9 lives. So he walked
Oh my
around
God, I'm
all
looking
day.
at a picture of this asshole.
Would you like to see?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you've seen him. He looks like an
looks
adult
like-
baby. He looks like somebody caught some sort of a
does.
disease.
And
We don't even
he
know
loved
which
to have his
one
belly
is which.
scratched.
They both look like penises in bad Captain Picard
I'm
cosplay
actually
wigs.
seeing which one is him, because Comic Vine actually has a picture of this idiot
with his
And he looks
ding-a-ling
like-
costume of a 9 and
He looks like
on a-
Gorgeous George, baby accountant, in his 9 Lives Man suit with some money bags. He's so terrible. He looks like he stole a Matador's pants and some
and a comically
Yeah.
short cape.
a comically short cape, and he stole some poor motherfucker's shirt from Sesame Street.
And he had to go to the bathroom in a sandbox. That was the
No, he's
No,
not.
he's
no,
not.
he's not a cat guy.
That's the stupidest thing about
he
this
is
freaking character.
He claimed that he had 9 lives. He claimed that he couldn't be killed. He walked around an entire day. What I would imagine is just fucking with emergency services, because he would get shot with bullets and not die. He would juggle flames and not
What if he
die.
looked
he
at
was
his
walking
costume
through the
wrong?
flames like some sort of badass. and
What
that's
if he
he's
was
on.
looking at his costume when he was sleeping, and it's like, shit, you're 6 lives, man, not 9 lives.
Oh,
Yeah.
he got the shirt upside down. He got okay. So
Like
here's
his
the
lives
thing,
go
right?
down
so,
as-
so crime boys, so dirty rotten crime scoundrels, discovered that he'd used Deathless, and they conscripted him into criming. And then he faked his own death by blowing up a munitions factory with a
And literally
cigar.
no one cared.
And literally no one cared except Batman and Robin, who discovered that he was still hiding out in a hideout, completely not dead. And I shit you not, upon being discovered, he leapt out a first-floor window, cracked his head on the brick wall opposite the window, and died in the alley. I shit you not. That's how he went down, like the biggest damn
Yes,
tool in the drawer. And now we have to construct a Batman film, a saleable Batman film
Well,
of
that
this-
might be impossible.
out of this dingling.
Saleable, I think, is
Saleable, yeah, that's
Would you like to join in? Would you like to grab a microphone? Come on, Gene. This is your time. This is your moment to shine. We're gonna shit gold. We're gonna spin it. We're gonna spin that poop into real gold, and then we're gonna sell it to Warner Brothers, and we're gonna be billionaires, my friend.
Gene's like,
We're
I'm
gonna
looking
hit
up
the
stuff on
1.2 billion.
letgo.com. I'm busy.
Updating my link.
LinkedIn. I was
Is
just
LinkedIn, yep.
Well, thank you very much for asking.
I don't know that you could actually spin gold out of this.
Yes, you
No,
can.
I
Absolutely
don't.
can. And I will start you with it. Batman Deathless. That's the name. Go.
That is a really dope name.
Badass name.
I think it's a great name
Yeah.
that might be wasted on a
Well, I mean, if you
Go
turn
with
him
your
into
story.
something other
Start
than
on.
a bald, pudgy dude with
Yeah.
a hair donut.
Okay, so let's
He
start.
has to be some kind of a cat thing. He has to be some kind of a feline.
We
thing.
already have Catman, and Catman will be in a different
This
episode.
is why he was only in
one
one.
issue. What would you rather have? 10 Eyes Man, a guy who had 10 eyes,
They have
but
One
not on
Punch
his
Man.
head,
On his
Not
hands.
Batman,
fingers.
Yeah. Which we've
which
talked
would make
about is like
jerking off weird.
weird and wiping his ass.
Wiping is
really weird.
strange.
You want to talk about pink eye?
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, he sneezes and gives
Gene is
himself
quietly
a,
dying in the corner.
He doesn't know if they're like eye boogers when he wakes up or like leftover fecal matter on his.
Oh man.
Is 9 Lives Man. 9 Lives Man. We can do this.
If
Batman
we approach
Deathless.
it from there
it is.
is One Punch Man,
Uh-huh.
which is a really really wonderful comic and anime that I've watched. It's very funny. It's very good. If we did sort of a sad Batman take on One Punch Man, where
A man who could not die.
he supremely wants to die, he has nothing left to
He
live
can
for.
die though. He has 9 lives.
He's got 9, but he hasn't. All right, that's our parameters. He can only die 9 times, and then on that last time, on that 10th death, that'll
He's
be
really
it.
scared to leave, and he would lock himself somewhere.
And here's the thing,
Or
he
throw himself
can't-
out of a dang
he
window
can't
and
do it-
crack his head like a chump.
He can't do it by suicide though.
Okay, all right. Now we're going. Now we're burning rubber.
Because
So this is
you have to have parameters and limitations when you're talking about these things, because otherwise there's no stakes. So
Okay.
he can try to kill himself, but whatever magic that makes him 9 Lives Man just means that he can't do it. He can't somebody has to kill him. He can't kill himself.
What's his crime plan?
He wants to fucking die.
Okay, but that's not okay. That's a great motive for
Hey,
you know
I gave
the
you
finale.
that at somebody else's turn.
Okay. So let's see here. His crime plan. He's going to commit an art heist in which he gets he has to plan a way so that he gets shot and presumed dead, but still be able to make off with the art. And if he's dead, okay, wait, no, because
No,
then they would
'cause-
have his body in a morgue.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't work, Scott.
Okay,
That's
well,
way too convoluted.
Unless that was part of the plan. Unless the part of the plan was to be put into the morgue, and then he's in the police station, and then he's going to capture Commissioner Gordon. Right?
And then he wants Batman to kill him like 9 times?
No.
Does he? Maybe he doesn't wanna
Maybe
die.
he doesn't want to die.
Maybe he just knows he's limited by 9 lives.
Right?
Okay, so maybe he's a criminal that knows he's limited by 9 lives or whatever.
But also liberated by 9 lives,
Yeah.
because that means that he can commit these daring heists without dying, without being obliterated.
Yeah, and he's he doesn't have to be so careful each time. He's kind of
so-
living like a character in a video game. He has multiple lives to screw up, try things, be a little more flamboyant.
Right. What if it's instead of being shot to death, like in the comic book, he at one point blows himself to smithereens, knowing.
And what if he's video game themed? Think about
What if he can't die
yeah.
the same way?
Yeah, exactly.
He can die once getting blown up, but if it tries to blow him up again, he won't die. He has 9 lives to die different ways.
Oh, that's so good. and Batman has to figure out. Batman's got a plan
Which ways
he's going to, and what crimes,
What has killed him already? He
and
doesn't know.
and what crimes, and whether or not. I mean, because it could be an illusion that could be part of Batman's crime sleuthery that he's got to figure out. Is this guy like honest God, deathless? It's the Lazarus Pit.
And the other thing is the only way he can.
Man is
The last one, the only way Batman, which he would never do, the Batman that we like.
Yeah.
Not the Zack
Zack
Snyder,
Snyder Batman.
The only way he could finally kill him, though, is he hasn't been strangled. And that's what Batman can't bring himself to do, is
Wouldn't
to
it be
kill
shot
him.
though?
Well, I mean, but Batman doesn't kill at all. See, that's the thing.
He couldn't do it.
I mean, he used to. I remember in an early like 1940s era story when he lowered a lasso to capture a guy who was imponderably strong and stupid, like this gigantic, like a sort of a proto Solomon Grundy, and just
Strong and stupid.
hanged him from the bat plane and flew around until he was strangulated.
Oh my God!
This is the Batman that we know and love back when he used to wear like gentleman's gloves, when he didn't even have the gauntlet, the whole gauntlet with the Sharpie spines on it. It was just, and he just hanged a guy and had to
was a weird time.
right. Life was
like the
so
80s.
Well, you have to
cheap.
think
those
sometimes he
times.
might accidentally kill somebody. though.
Accidentally,
yeah,
right.
He's beating the shit out of people.
Right, and they
somebody falls over a balcony or something. He's not going down to perform CPR on him. He's
Well, I mean, he's tossed the Joker off plenty of bridges and roofs and off piers and stuff like that. I mean, in whatever, in anger or accidentally
Frustration.
or whatever. But
Because he was
but there's
bored.
that.
lady times.
Gotta change the pad of my bat suit.
Batman is trans.
You heard it here. Our lawyers have said it's okay for us to say this. Warner Brothers is
on the
giving us the
highway.
okay.
How did you find out I'm in the bat cave? Is we just followed the
Just
trail
follow
of
the trail,
blood,
man. But that's those are some great ideas, guys. That's what I'm talking about. We can spin anything into gold, especially if we
nobody's gonna
change
buy
it
it or anything, but
hard
that's-
enough to it's not the same guy anymore. Because this guy was just a prestidigitator. He was just a flamboyant
He was just
asshole
an
with
idiot
too much
with a
time
freaking
in his
hair
hands.
donut
Yeah,
and a pair of tights.
He just wanted to have people. He just wanted to make people believe that he couldn't die, but he super could. Yeah. He absolutely could die. He was just a frustrated magician who wanted to, I don't know, screw with
But in the
suicide
Lazarus pool, you
hotlines.
said the Lazarus pool. That's too Ra's al Ghul.
Well, I like Ra's al Ghul, and they haven't done him well at all ever.
Yeah.
They've
But I think
mean,
maybe steer clear of the Lazarus
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
Like he's just for whatever reason.
Unless there's like a humorous effect where you have like Raish out there just being like, "Hey, this is my Lazarus pit. What the heck?"
heck, guys!
What?
Now you fouled it up.
Is that how he sounds to you?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
exactly how he sounds to me.
Well, heck yeah! Haven't you seen
Raish
it?
al Ghul.
Ra's al
What if it's
Ghul.
something more of like he finds the Fountain of Youth? You know?
Okay. Yeah, that's a way to go. The fountain, but he would have to. Now, does he carry it with him?
No, he's
he
got
drinks
vials,
the water of the pool of life.
Yeah, he's got it in like a little.
Hopefully,
water
it's not
bottle or
from
whatever.
Flint,
Oh yeah, no, that's the pool of Half Life.
Yeah.
That's the pool that's going
which they're
That's the
eventually.
pool of our governor doesn't give a crap about us.
Yeah,
Hopefully
that's-
the new one
We got
does better.
political
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
You Snyder.
yeah.
Yeah, ate it. And on that, can we say, screw you, Zack Snyder? Screw you,
Zack
He's like-
Snyder.
You screwed up Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg,
Keep going.
Not-
kinda Aquaman. I mean,
You
he's
can't
just
really
a
screw
douche
Aquaman
bro.
Because Aquaman kind of sucks.
Yeah.
on his
Aquaman
own.
kind of sucks anyway, but
You can only try to
why
make him
tur-
cooler.
Why
and
turn him into
try.
a tattooed up surfer bro
Because
that says,
that's
"My
cool.
man"?
That's cooler than the actual Aquaman, who's just a freaking nerd in scaly pajamas.
Well, I have to say, look. I mean, from a comic book
I will
standpoint,
fight you.
they
Aquaman.
did-
When it's Aquaman
they
has crabs,
changed-
it means something else.
They changed his character. They gave him a hook
Who
hand.
cares?
They gave him a hook hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I
think
don't
you're always
like
struggling
I don't
with
like
that kid.
Jason Momoa. I think
Scott
that
doesn't like him because he has nice hair.
no, I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Scott's gonna reach over here and strangle me instead. Oh gosh.
Oh no, I'm good. No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
What's all this
gonna leave
blood
me-
in here?
Lady
it was
times.
her lady
Scott's
times.
lady times.
He's gonna be leaving me passive aggressive post-it notes for like the next 2 weeks.
No, I just don't like him because everything that I have read about him or heard about him, he seems like he's a bit of an arrogant tool.
I don't want to talk about Jason Momoa. I want to talk about how much Aquaman sucks because he does.
I just want to talk about how badly Zack Snyder screwed up every
he did.
aspect of the DC cinematic universe. How is it that you can take a guy that's so good and interesting and heroic and turn
Aquaman?
him Superman and turn him into
Yeah, I was gonna say Aquaman. What?
turn him into a
just
violent,
likes to do it with
rage-fueled
dolphins.
murder machine.
Because that's what modern audiences are used to, is every character is deeply conflicted, dark
They like that
stories,
grim, dark shit.
superhero-wise. And Marvel
I don't like
teetered,
that grim, dark shit,
they
but-
teetered on having more comedy and lighter moments in it. And that's really tough because, where is the comedy in Superman? It's like, and I think Richard Donner, hit a tone well in the first two
Right.
Superman.
I mean, you look at stories. You can look at stories with heart, though, like Superman All Stars and Superman for All Seasons, and say that there's more to the character than just punching. That he's
Completely,
that
yeah.
that he has interest. Because you look at Marvel and you take the sort of the next closest thing that you can to that, the Captain America, and how you can hit a guy who is really decent and really forthright and kind and earnest and still tell really interesting stories.
Well,
with him.
I think the difference is Superman is the only superhero that his disguise is not being himself. You know what I mean? Like his thing is pretending he's somebody else instead of being who he actually is. He's an alien on this planet, but he's also more human and human characteristics sometimes, and his decency, and kind of teaching us that as a culture. That's something that I think is interesting with that character.
And instead we get a morose, bearded quitter who impales a man's truck up a telephone pole, pisses off forever, doesn't do anything, and then smashes up his hometown, and then literally destroys 90% of Metropolis and all of the human life in it. And that's your film. That's your film, is Superman and Lois Lane kissing while human ash rains down upon them from incinerated
I'd like to
high-rise
talk about
buildings.
the moment in, I think it's Justice League, where they're uncomfortably talking in that field, and she says that he smells good, and I thought that was one of the creepiest things
That is the creepiest
that I've ever
thing.
seen on film. Like, why did you film that? Why did you feel like including that in the movie? I'm really fucking. Who the fuck says that? He smelled good.
What especially given the fact that he was not just in his grave for most of the film,
smell like the grave,
but got
They Febrezed
resurrected in a liquid
lot
goo
of
pool.
Febreze.
Who smells great after having a hand-to-hand combat with a demigod and the Scarlet Speedster, and then flying through probably, I don't know, a metric ton of bugs and whatever particulate pollutions are in the atmosphere to land
the way
in
she
Kansas.
said it is so weird. Like, you smell good.
I think the studio, they looked at Zack Snyder's successes and maybe visually what he's done with certain things and thought, oh, he'd be great for this. And then for himself, he didn't really maybe challenge himself to do something, tonality that was way different than he's done before. You see a lot of classic directors, George Cukor or somebody doing, okay, he did a Western, he did a musical, he did in things that have different tones to it and kind of challenging oneself as a filmmaker.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese,
Yeah,
same
just-
thing.
yeah,
he
doing-
just creates different. He just works in different genres.
Yeah, and just to have different tones with that. So I think
Zack Snyder's
he
that-
didn't really
that
challenge himself with
multifaceted.
that. They also felt the need to kind of they should have
Distance themselves
released.
from,
Well, they should have released some of those solo films obviously first, but they're always trying to catch up to Marvel instead of just fuck it, let's just make our own
Do our
thing.
own thing.
And don't worry about where they are. No, they have numbers people going, they release something that they're going to release like 25 movies in the next
30
6
years.
years.
Yeah.
No, like 6 years of like. I just think that's going to be overkill, and people, and they're always trying to catch up to Marvel instead of saying, let's just they
make
did
our
their
own.
thing, let's just do our own thing.
Right. Yeah. And Snyder.
I was talking about that from Grand Rapids, Michigan, where like even poor Zack Snyder could just pay to have us disappear.
Right.
What happened to that? Don't ask about that.
We don't talk about that here.
Gene goes, there was never a show.
There was never
Yeah,
a show
it's like
called
as they
James
Why Don't
shove
We Have Our-
hundreds
How
into
nobody
his
ever talks about
pocket.
how
My
he
God,
murdered
now we
Leonardo
know
DiCaprio.
why we don't have our own show.
That's
Because
Thanks.
Marvel made us disappear. Well, yeah, no, I get
Oh,
that.
we
That's it's just
disappeared in the snap, Scott.
three
The snap.
three chucklehead assholes sitting in a sound booth in a public access TV station. I get it. Criticizing film, but that's what we're
happened
here
to Scott Baisden? He's gone.
No, there was never a
Scott
Scott.
Baisden.
But that's our job. Our job as both as artists and as critics of art is to say what we think is and isn't. I mean, that's
Especially on something that scale. It's
Yeah.
not like a
not
fellow
like I'm
independent artist doing something that we're
Right.
like beating with a pinata.
right. I mean, we know a lot of independent filmmakers here in Michigan. We don't necessarily shit on them that often. Or if we,
public.
we
That
do
often.
publicly, if we do, we don't maybe do it publicly.
behind
We do it
closed
amongst
doors and whispered
amongst our
corners.
friends or people who already we know that agree with us. I mean, it's not really mixed.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
some
Yeah.
people that just make Hallmark card films,
Right.
or
Choices.
make their own action figures of themselves,
Or-
stuff like that.
or
Which
that
is
choose to
weird.
or the
Choices.
or that choose to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Who
Or
never
put on their
actually
site
learn.
that their one of their awards
my
was
God.
best thespian when they were in elementary school.
This is a real guy.
That's
This is he
that's-
will remain nameless, but it is a real
That's
guy.
a real person who did that. Now,
did that.
good for you, but it's like,
Congratulations.
Scott and I talked about this. He's going to put up a spelling bee that he won.
I won
and-
first in my school.
And I
first
was in
place.
5th grade. I won a free throw contest that I'm going to put on my awards section too.
My awards will include my 6th grade. I went to
21 free throws. In a
I went to
row.
regionals in 6th grade, and I got canned on my first word. That was embarrassing. My mom wasn't even there. My
This is why I
aunt had
chose
taken
never
me.
to freaking compete.
Menstrual
I don't have
was
any
the
awards
word.
because I never
Copyright.
competed because I
Menstrual.
don't have to deal with this nonsense.
Copyright. COPYRIGHT, and I will never forget that. Sorry about that. I'm probably gonna have to edit out that was too loud. But yeah, no. So
Menstrual.
it's okay for us to talk about it because it's part of the cultural zeitgeist. It's part of what.
And we don't know Zack Snyder personally.
Well, we don't know him
so fuck
personally. I'm
him.
sure he's a very nice guy with
Or-
his dumb tattoo sleeves and the way that he dresses like he's an extra in a
And
new
Gene
production.
Just sighs.
There's a big sigh from Gene.
Sorry.
He's gassy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's what they call it in
he dresses like an extra
society
from
as
Atlas
the
Shrugged.
fuss. It was Gene farted and it didn't make a noise. It just went, and
It's
that's
a-
known as a fuss.
This is our ASMR video.
Oh my god. On
Menstrual.
that note, do we want to take a question?
Let's take a question from
Okay, what's
Yahoo
it-
Movies.
Yeah, from Yahoo Movies because we really desperately need people. Anyone who's listening to this, please send us some emails with some questions. No question is too stupid. Yes, I know I'm opening myself up to
Stupid
a
questions.
lot of stupid questions, but
Send
no
'em.
question is too stupid.
This will be the last time you say that.
Send
You're gonna have a
'em.
different disclaimer next time.
Please,
Just
no
make
stupids.
sure you put in how you would. Excuse me. Stop laughing. I'm putting important information here.
No dick pics.
No dick pics. First of all, I know that I'm opening myself up for that because and I will judge you. And it will be a long, detailed judgment.
Well, some of them won't be as long as others.
Well, obviously.
Might-
So send in your
It might not take
questions.
long for the jury to
It's blueheaven
deliberate.
at gmail.com, right? Blueheaven
Sorry?
Pictures? The email.
Yeah, blueheavenpictures at gmail.com.
And once again, please, please, please tell us how you'd like to be referred to and your pronouns so we can get that just right for you.
Or if you just like us to call you a dingling.
Yeah, I mean, if whatever you want. Send those in. No question is too stupid. So this is an anonymous question from Yahoo Entertainment. Do you know any sad movies so I can go around acting like I'm all sad some more?
What? All right. Well, here's a little bit of a personal tale. I think that anything that you can react to at the time based on your mood can be a sad film. I watched Wizard of Oz when I was 13 years old, and I was in a very bad place. And when Judy Garland started sobbing at the gates of the Emerald City, I also lost my goddamn mind.
And like, to be fair, watching Judy Garland cry is honestly one of the worst things in the she is like so
She's got
such good sad
tragic
face. Like
cry
you don't want her to be sad. It's
No,
like
no.
watching it's like watching a puppy cry.
It's like
Especially
watching
in
a
that film.
butterfly get crushed.
Exactly.
Especially in that film.
Or
Yeah.
like an ice skater when they fall down. That's just like sad.
Oh yeah, yeah. But like seeing a rabbit like get caught in the fence and eaten by a cat ass first. That's what I mean. That's the feeling that you get in your heart.
That's exactly the feeling that
very
we got in the heart.
Rabbits
detailed.
screaming. It was just a topic at Red Letter Media, and their best of the worst. And
Yeah, in regard to
holy
Night of the
shit.
Lepus.
In Night of the Lepus, yeah, and they didn't.
as a
They didn't use
Midwesterner,
that.
it is
They
the
didn't use
worst.
that sound in the film nearly as much as they should have. For those of you who aren't in the Midwest, and I can't imagine that if you're listening to this podcast, you don't live in the Midwest.
It is honestly the worst.
Have you? I mean, we've all heard it. We've all heard it in the middle of
Jean's
the deep,
nodding.
deep night.
Yeah.
It sounds like
And
a
we had
child
cats when I was a
being
kid.
fed into a wood chipper. I didn't know that rabbits could make the noise that comes out of them when they get attacked by a cat or a dog or a coyote
And
or
it
whatever.
is
And we've
the
all
worst
heard it
fucking
in
sound.
this
Yeah,
room.
it's awful.
It is the worst.
It's awful.
So, what movie would you watch if you wanted to go around to be sad and stuff some more?
I think In the Bedroom has crushed me before watching that film.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Sissy Spacek,
Oh.
Tom Wilkinson, Nick Stahl, Marissa Tomei. That's a pretty heavy one.
I mean,
21 grams as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sean
Anything by
Penn.
Lars von Trier is going to break your goddamn heart.
Yeah.
Medea or
For me,
Dance
it's
for
Grave
the
of the
Dark.
Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies.
I watched that movie is a beautiful
Beautiful
movie. I
film.
watched it once
Once.
because emotionally I can't put myself through that again.
Mm-hmm.
Schindler's List.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's the,
beautiful movie. Can't really watch more than once in a while, just
it's-
because it is so emotionally
Place in
draining.
the Sun definitely will take you out of a good mood.
And
if you're
speaking
in
of Lady Times, I did
Very well
actually
done,
get crying during the end scene of Empire,
Oh,
it was
Return of the Jedi. Oh, yeah.
Where,
Tell that story.
I was on my period, and
Wow.
sorry, Gene.
Sorry, Gene.
And I was very emotional, as any ladies out there know, and get very emotional during that time of the month. And we were watching the scene, and the Emperor's lightning bolting Luke, and he's pleading for us, and I just started bawling like a little kid. I had to listen to really happy Madonna music afterwards. I listened to Holiday about 50 times just to take myself out of that emotional place because I was so freaking depressed.
And you also care about that character too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's a
even
different.
When I talk about him, I'm just oh.
It's a
Yes.
different thing than I think story structure wise, but will be a whole different show subject is the prequels versus the
Oh, my
original
Lord.
trilogy. But
We've
I think
got
you
a
care about that
friend.
protagonist.
We've got a friend who thinks that the prequels are better than the original series, and
I feel
we'll
like I'm
have a
going to be
healthy
absent
debate
for
about
that
Yeah.
episode. 'Cause I don't. Me and Michael
have
are just
to-
going to be outside
just-
of the other room. We just let them
as
go.
as Scott's flipping the table,
you guys are just
screaming.
going to be outside the doors, taking pictures through the window, through the glass.
I do want that episode to happen, though. We do have to get
it's
Christian
it's
in
going to
here.
sound like
We're going to have a debate.
it's going to sound like
It's not gonna
bunnies
be
in a
debate.
thresher.
going to-
Just Scott screaming.
And me and Mike are going to be over here on the other side. Me and Michael are going to be on the other side. We're just
Christian,
gonna
bring
be,
it
like,
all, and
drinking
also a
smoothies.
friend of mine, Dominic Natoli. Well, they are both.
Well, then you got to have you got to have a second for me because I'm not going toe to toe with those two morons by myself. That's asymmetrical. That's like Jason going up against two Jasons.
Yeah. It'd be. It's just like Scott versus with his hands tied behind his back against two Freddy Kruegers. You just
No, I don't want that.
It's like Scott is Jason and it's two Freddy Kruegers, and Scott does not have
and
his
I
machete.
do not have my machete. Look, anybody.
I just want to film and listening to it. That's what I.
You know what's going
I
to
think
I'm
that-
going to be in the corner, and I'm going to be with my phone. I'm going to be reading Harry Potter smut because I'm going to have to dissociate myself from the whole thing.
We have to have them on though. I think that is, and that's one show that I think needs to be filmed.
So just so you can
because
see me
Scott's
at my
reaction.
sweaty, angry worst.
Every time you see Scott like just drop his shoulders and drop his head forward,
And you can hear it visually. You can hear it in the audio.
like getting terrible test results back, is like that's when we say it like Scott's losing his soul.
When the
and every time that
doctor-
happens, we could play a drinking game to that. Every time you see or hear that sigh
That would be
from
a
whisper
Scott.
dangerous,
of my
dangerous
spirit.
drinking game
That would be
because we
dangerous.
would be freaking drunk by like the half-hour mark.
That tone of voice when the doctor closes the door to the office behind him and just sits down and kind of looks through that paperwork real slowly and goes,
Yep.
okay. So at this point, I think what we should focus on is
It's quality of life.
quality of life.
That blueberry on the end of your ding dong isn't normal.
Is not normal. The fact that you are urinating something that looks like grape jam is not normal.
Discharging.
it is
I don't
not
know if it's
ideal.
urinating. It's discharging.
Well, the discharges, my associate will be dealing with your discharges, but the urine,
Smuckers.
it should not smell like that, taste like that.
Nobody know why. Then that patient, without asking what's wrong, goes, "Why are you tasting it?"
It's
And then the doctor comes in and goes, "Harold, get out of here! You know you're not supposed to be talking to the patient."
I once had a doctor, I swear he had to have been the janitor. Because I sliced my thumb open at my job. I used to work at Frank's Nursery and Crafts on 28th Street in Granville.
Which is
Between
now
Ivan
closed.
Rust
They
and
should
Byron
be a
Center.
sponsor.
They
they've
would
been-
be
they-
if they hadn't gone out of business.
There's still
ages
one in
ago.
Frandor.
Is there really?
There's one
There's
of
a Michael's.
everything in Michigan. We were at, where was it when we were shooting
it was like
the
Owasso.
Fortnite? We were in Owasso, and there was a Radio Shack, a Ponderosa Steakhouse, and a sit-down Little Caesars, all within a block of each other.
Yeah.
That's madness. Those things don't exist outside of the time bubble that is that Twilight Zone episode. So I was in the doctor's office and I'd
You
sliced
need
my
like
thumb.
a Blockbuster video. That would be the only.
God. Yeah,
I bet they do.
They probably had a smorgasbord. The Swedish House. Or Sweden House? Was it
Yeah,
called Sweden
yeah.
House? The smorgasbord. That's such a Midwestern thing. So I'd sliced my thumb open, and the quote-unquote doctor, the guy who came in to look me over, grabbed hold of my thumb, it had been bleeding for an hour, squeezed it in this vice-like grip that could only have been the grip of a madman or a Batman villain. And
Not 9 Lives.
Oh, not nine.
He
like
lifted off because I was with him. He
lurched
lifted.
off the metal table and screamed. He goes, "Did that hurt?" And then proceeded to super glue my thumb closed
Yeah,
by
he was- that
squeezing
was the
it.
janitor,
That was the
Scott.
janitor. That wasn't a doctor. I can guarantee you that wasn't a doctor.
When
He
he
did have a
leaned a
Dr.
mop
shirt on,
against
though.
the wall and then
That
grabbed
should have
your-
been-
that should have
been my first. When he
When he came out of
zipped
the
up his
bathroom with a plunger, you
when
should
he's-
have known.
when he zipped up his blue jeans and
It's like Northern Exposure. He's the doctor on Northern Exposure. It's
No, the
just,
doctor on Northern Exposure was the only like civilized man. He was the guy. He was the guy who
but
was
he
being
still wore
exposed
jeans and
to the
wrapped
north.
things in duct tape. If that's what it's like. I think his
Any-
bedside manner faded as the seasons went on.
Was there more than one season?
Oh
of that
yeah, they
dang
made
show?
like 6
what
or
the
7 or 8 of
hell?
them. Yeah.
Oh,
It was
that's right.
entertaining.
And then they had the did they don't they, and then they did, and then they wrote that character off and replaced it with somebody else that they could did they don't they, or was the doctor like everybody got replaced at some point except Maurice.
I don't know.
I
Maybe.
whatever.
Good
You're
character
talking
actors.
about Dr. Who. I'm sorry, I dissociated for a minute.
Were you reading your Harry Potter
exposure.
smut?
Yeah, I was reading my Harry Potter. Sorry. I got distracted and decided that
Hermione.
don't you dare.
Really, Mr. Potter.
Wow. Wow. I'm taking this to a weird place, apparently.
I think this show's just lost 2 of its lives.
9 lives, man. I'm still
There'll
9
be,
lives,
there'll
man.
be 7 more, and then that's
7 more
it.
episodes,
and then we
and
just
then
turn
we
to a
just put-
pile of ash.
Well, I think the building will just disintegrate. We'll come here and
A black hole.
it will always have been an empty lot.
Right.
Like
Blockbuster.
Like what happened to the TV studio? What TV studio?
never was.
The old
I
crazy
think that brings
man on the
us-
rocking chair. We'll go. What?
And I
TV
think that brings us
studio?
to our final question, because
Really?
I think this is the question that ties the whole show together.
Holy
This
shit.
is a
Here we
Yahoo
go.
Entertainment and Music question by Ted X, who asks, anyone watch The View without getting sick?
I wanted to talk about this for a long time, and I thought I was the only one. The last time that I watched The View, I got a phone call, and the voice on the other end of the line said 7 days.
And then 7
Did
days
it happen to you?
And then 7 days later, Joy Behar appears in your bathroom and gives you a yeast infection.
Yes, I got sick from watching The
Lady
View.
times.
This is right.
Lady time.
Lady time. Every single time, and then at some point,
It's always a yeast infection.
Whoopi Goldberg reached her hand out of my phone, grabbed my arm, and then burned the 3 fingerprints on to tell me that I had 3 days left on my arm. But I had 4 days, and then I had to go into ring arbitration.
Yeah, then you were just forced to watch Jumping Jack Flash over and over again.
And what was the movie that she did with the Theodore Rex?
Oh, hold on. a
Theodore
sec.
Rex.
We gotta look this up. Hold on.
Theodore
hold on.
Rex. It was called Theodore Rex. It was the one that she did with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, where they were buddy cops.
It
and
is, it's
she was
Theodore Rex.
and she was a dinosaur racist.
I can say this: when you think of The View compared to The Talk or any of those other shows, The Realist, I think, is another one. Maybe I'm.
You have an extensive knowledge.
I know those
Really?
daytime shows, and
Of
they're
those
just
daytime talk
awful.
shows.
They're awful.
They're all
so The
awful.
View is bad, but comparatively to the other ones,
The question, though, that is germane is: did you get sick from watching The View?
no. But I've been. I think
Joy
it's-
Behar did not give you
Joy
yeast infection.
Behar is
How
awful.
did you
but I
not
think,
get the phone call
I
that
think-
told you that you had 7 days?
I think.
Am I the only? Am I
You
going
are.
insane? Am I the only one that was
Yes.
told that I was going to die in 7
You might
days
want to
from
talk
watching
to
The
somebody.
View?
You might want to talk to somebody.
And
Like I said, Joy Behar just appeared in my bathroom and told me I'm going to get a yeast infection, and
I've got
I did.
1 day left, guys. I don't know what to do. I'm starting to
And you
have
took
nightmares.
this time to
of-
do a podcast?
Yes, I thought it
You
was
didn't get your
important to get the
affairs
word
in
out.
order?
No, I have no affairs. Have you met me? The only thing that anybody's going to inherit from me is my crippling student loan debt.
Remember what you said. If anything happens to you,
And
your
yeast
dear
infection.
friend David's going to go over to your house.
And delete my skin bin. David Miller, if you ever listen to this one, I want you to find my
Ann
skin
knows
bin.
about this
Find,
bit.
I do know
Find
about
my
this.
Get an
folders.
hour.
Find
Give
my
him an hour.
We have
an
both
hour.
agreed.
Yes.
Delete the internet history.
Blast my cache.
Delete the.
Blast my cache. Control X or whatever. Blast it. For the whole thing, all my search history, and find my skin bin. It's in a folder labeled
It's what a
tax
decent
shit
friend would do.
2013, and delete that without looking at it. Delete it without
Do not look
looking
at any of it.
Judgment
David
will
Miller,
be
I am
passed.
telling you,
No, because
delete
that's why you don't
without
look at it.
looking
You just don't look
Just
at it.
don't.
You just delete
You will
it and
never
you move
understand what it is that makes me happy. You will never get it. Delete it without looking at it. I swear to fucking God, delete it without looking at it.
Now you'll change it to 9 live story ideas. Like, that'll be the other one.
9 Lives, Batman Deathless, the script, the movie.
on. What's the script about?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's a lot about feet.
It's just like 90
Lots.
pictures of him in his fursona.
Oh, which would be what? What is it bats?
No, it's already. I told you at the top of the show, it's a trout.
Oh, it's a trout,
Yeah,
that's
because
right.
you kept going on about it. So it's clearly. I mean, you don't
Tuna.
choose your fursona. It chooses
you.
Yeah.
It creeps into you. It opens up your window in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's a
sneaks in
weird.
and-
Like how?
and
Why do you
whispers.
nickname Scott Trout? You go,
Troutman?
well,
Well,
Scott Troutman. That's going to be my new name, Troutman.
Scott Troutman.
To all of the Scott Troutmans out there, I apologize, but you are now
And the
forever
glory
tainted.
of it is it's like a reverse mermaid. He's just going to have like a big like fish head
with
as his
human
fursuit.
legs.
Yeah, with human legs.
and he keeps getting caught on hooks everywhere he goes.
And nets, and I've got a pop like a 6-pack ring around my neck.
Yeah.
I'm really into choking.
Because it's oh my god.
I'm into autoerotic asphyxiation.
And
but
you have
I'm
a
not-
little crown on too,
Of course,
like
because you're
the
king.
sun-kissed
like
tuna.
sun-kissed tuna.
Yeah.
I've got-
Because
right.
you're the king of it.
The king of asphyxiation. That's what it'll be.
The king hanging myself with my ding dong in my hand. David
Your
Carradine,
gill in your
everybody.
hand.
David Carradine. But wait a minute, did we make those jokes in excess?
Oh!
I think that's
Too
going to
soon?
wrap it up for us, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another episode of Why Don't We Have Our Own
Devil
Show?
Inside.
The show that answers its own question.
'Cause we
I have
make
been
the
your other host, Scott,
And I'm your also other host, Anne. I'm sorry.
and our guest,
That
Michael.
you won't
I'm
reveal
so
your
tired.
last name.
I'm so tired.
And I'm somebody that just came in to do some editing and then got pulled into here.
I just came to piss. I just went in here because I
Michael
thought it was going to
McCallum.
be a piss.
Lady time.
Where do we end that joke? Where do we end that joke?
Blood on the highway.
Oh my, blood on the bat pole. Just streaking it all the way down.
And that's when you don't want the kids to do the triple dog dare on that pole from A Christmas Story.
This one tastes like old pennies.
Expired ham and old pennies.
Tastes like a crock pot full of ambergris.
Why does it taste like an abattoir?
Tim, how do you know what an abattoir tastes like?
Get around in 6th grade.
It's Gotham, buddy. It's Gotham.
I think that's the end of the
I'm
show.
sweaty.
I'm so sweaty.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that's it.
please, more.
Well, apparently we have
Section
more time.
2, Part 2. This is the second life of the 9 lives.
Hi, welcome to Why Don't We Have Our Own Show, Part 3.
Oh, wow.
Why don't I
Fired.
have a career?
We'll be starting a GoFundMe for Gene after this.
Well, actually, let me throw in some last minute stuff, and I'm just going to cut around this a little bit. We don't have our Patreon page up yet because I still have to figure out what Patreon is, and our YouTube channel has absolutely nothing on it. But eventually, we will have a YouTube presence, Patreon. Begging you for your hard-earned dimes.
And if you do send me dick pics, I will start a Tumblr.
We will put it up online.
And I will put it up online.
This is not extortion, blackmail.
No.
This is not a bit.
And
this
I'm
is not a
being
goof.
I'm being 100% real.
100%. We will.
Your
put
dick
it
will be
up.
on the internet. Actually, I can't put it on Tumblr.
Because Tumblr sucks. Because Tumblr. Oh, do we want to talk about that? That Tumblr got rid of a picture of you that you had posted of Mac and me.
They didn't get rid of it. I just deleted it because I didn't want to deal with their
They had
arbitration
stealth
system.
banned her for
Gene
posting.
has a question.
Excuse me, if Tumblr sucks, isn't that where you want the dick?
No, because Tumblr won't allow
He's
Tumblr
got
won't
jokes
allow
and jokes and
yeah,
jokes
dicks. You
and
would think
jokes.
that, but Tumblr doesn't want the dicks.
Tumblr doesn't want the dicks. Tumblr doesn't want.
They
Tumblr,
had a recent TOS change because they had a lot of problem with porn bots, and to deal with this,
They decided to fucking
they
block
decided
everybody.
to deal with it in a completely a manner that does not solve the problem whatsoever.
Whatsoever.
They just decided we're going to ban all not safe for work content, all adult
Everything.
content. So anything
Except
that's
Nazis.
remotely close. Yeah, they don't.
It's white
they don't-
supremacists. That's totally fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
But lady titties, nope.
Men titties, yes. Lady titties.
Men titties are okay.
Yeah.
Female presenting nipples are not. That is how they talked about it.
Female
too.
presenting nipples.
Female presenting nipples.
So that means-
That should be
not
the name of
okay.
the show.
Female presenting nipples. But they did. So Anna, we were watching Mac and Me, and
Their algorithm, and they
Ann
did this all by
put
an
a
algorithm.
picture
FYI,
of the scene in Mac and Me
it's a
when
literal
Mac
screen
is
cap from a children's movie.
he's dancing on a McDonald's counter, and it's a child dancer in a costume,
In a bear
in a bear costume, with like the Mac head underneath
And
through that. And
Tumblr's
Tumblr
al-
stealth banned her for
Yeah.
it. They
Tumblr's
blocked her.
algorithm
Decided it was porn.
Shadow blocked me for a picture, screen cap of Mac and Me because I don't know, it was close enough in like the color tone that it was like, oh, is that
This
a
might
nude
be a
picture?
titty.
This might be a titty. We're not sure.
Maybe this is furry. We don't know. Our
And so they-
robots are stupid.
And so not only did they like
Maybe
flag
this is
the picture.
furry, we don't know.
They not only did they flag the picture, but they also stealth blocked me. Where it's like I noticed where none of my recent posts were like when you go to my site, none of my recent posts were up there, and like you couldn't search for my name in their search results because they stealth banned me. So I didn't feel like waiting like 5 years or whatever it was for them to actually go ahead because I did put it in arbitration. But it took them almost like a week and a half to get to it, to have a human person look
'Cause
at
it's
it
only
and go,
apparently
oh no,
one guy.
that's not a titty, that's a teddy.
That's a.
So I just deleted it and had myself unstealth banned. And so by the time like that all happened, like I got an email telling me, "Oh, when we looked at it, it's okay."
It's
like,
okay.
well, thanks.
Well, thanks. We deleted it already.
Meanwhile, in the interim, I had no less than 6 porn blogs follow me. So they found a way around the ban. They didn't solve the problem that they were hoping to solve.
And
They're Nazi
Nazis
porn.
are still there.
And the
Nazi
Nazis are
porn.
still there.
Nazis are still there.
Porn bots are still there. They've solved
there.
nothing.
But they got rid of one
got rid of the
picture
titties.
of Mac and Me.
I mean, and maybe that's a good thing.
And
because
maybe
Mac
that's a
and Me
great
is
thing. Maybe Mac
terrible.
it's a bad movie.
It's such a bad movie.
We're going to talk about that next episode.
So they
of Why Don't We
let
Have Our Own
Nazi
Show.
porn happen.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure they.
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
they'd be
Mine
cool with
come.
that. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Oh, we're cutting that.
Fuck you.
That's no. I wish I had like one of those water squirters.
Yeah, let's get him cut. So we've got some material to make this in an hour episode. We've got some material that can go.
Gene's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
He
20 minutes of
shrugged a little bit, like, yeah, maybe.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can kind of Frankenstein this thing together. It's gas.
Thank you again for tuning in like old time radio. Thank you for switching your crystals over to the Why Don't We Have Our Own Show News Hour.
Brought to you by RKO.
Brought to you by
Chesterfield Cigarettes. The
And-
cigarette your doctor smokes.
and saltine crackers, the only food you've got to eat. Thank you. Good night.